this season to go through some of these changes. And guys, Julian Carranza is gone. And then let's talk about some of the departures here as well. So we'll start off with the one we talked about last week, but it became official yesterday. Jose El Brujo Martinez, as we all know, is heading to Brazil. He's going to Corinthians. No, not with the Eagles. He's going to actually go play for Corinthians. It's very bittersweet. I don't know if you guys saw the tribute video. I couldn't help but get a little choked up. Obviously you think of it a little bit as a fan, and you remember, when Jose arrived here, it was such a weird time because he comes in the season during COVID, and people really just fell in love with him. And he really exemplified Philadelphia. And, he talked about it in that interview after that was at the Montreal match. Philly's a second home. And that's the stuff that, gives you like those goosebumps, right? Like he loves Philadelphia. He played for the badge, as they say. And so he's headed off to Corinthians. We'll see what his future holds there. Don't expect him to start right away, but we know Jose. He did the same thing here in Philadelphia. He will find his way on the pitch. Renee?
Yeah.
Go on.
108 appearances for Jose Martinez. 100 of those were starts during his 5 seasons here. And when you look at when you look at when he first debuted, you mentioned it back in 2020 against LAFC, March 8th, from there moving forward, his first goal with the club, June 21st of 2023, that incredible 90th minute goal against Orlando City, goal of the week, SportsCenter top 10 with that goal. What a great first goal for El Brujo. But for him to have had the success that he did, where he was able to become an all-star, he was able to become an integral part against this group, and someone that you saw as the face of the team. I know we had talked about it, and even I guess it was the offseason that we were talking through the numbers that came out that even shocked us. The highest selling jersey sales for any Union player was Jose Martinez. And he was like, I think top 10 across the league. So to see how much he came into this team and you weren't sure what you were going to get from him, he became such an intricate part of not only the midfield, but really the foundation of what makes this group that blue collar, gritty team that's no matter what the odds are, no matter who they're playing, they're going to go in and battle. You always knew you were going to get him aggressive, feisty, great in transition, winning 50-50s, laying it all out there, leaving it on the pitch. And it is very bittersweet. It's very sad. But I think the hard part is we've all been talking about the Union need to make changes. They need to switch up the core of this group. It's been the same group year after year. Many people are ready to come out with pitchforks and everything and complain and protest for the Union because their lack of moves. They're finally making moves. And unfortunately, it's not who you would expect. It's very surprising. I agree with you, Andrew. It feels like at this point, every day it's like, who's next? But this was like the first of that big move of like, oh, wait a minute. Ernst Tanner and the Union, they're not playing games. Like, it may feel like they're being very slow to pull the trigger on some decisions and roster acquisitions and moves. But make no mistake about it, between the addition of Sam Adeniran and Danley Jean-Jacques, and now looking at Jose Martinez's departure, Damian Lowe's departure, there's a lot more going on with this team. So happy for El Brujo, but also now nervous about what this means for the midfield makeup of the Union moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, bittersweet is the exact word I would use as well. I don't think there was anybody else on this squad that embodied the city of Philadelphia more than Jose. He had the animation, the expression out there. He brought the feelings to the pitch. He was that chippy, he was aggressive. He was everything that a Philadelphian is when it comes to sports. So it was super easy for us as a whole, as a city, to, get around him and feel his emotion, feel that on the field. And to have him leave, it stinks because, he's such a sweetheart to the city. And it definitely is super bittersweet because, like you said, you loved him. He brought so much stuff to the team. He brought so many great memories to our team here in Philadelphia, so many exciting moments. But at the end of the day, he's also moving somewhere where he's going to better his career. He's going to become a better player. He's going to go into a bigger competition pool. And I'm excited to see what happens for him. I'm excited to see his experience there, his growth, his development. Like you said, JP, he's probably not going to start right away, but you know who he is. We all know who he is, and he's going to fight for a position there. So, it's exciting.
No, absolutely. And I think an important part of it, Brujo. And listen, Renee, we've talked about it before. Like, there's things on the pitch he definitely frustrates you with. But one thing that was so important about his game, we always kill the Union because they don't buy the big players, right? Like, we're a big mark in this country. We're not after the Messi types, right? The Suarez types. But El Brujo, anytime you went up against Inter Miami, a Club America, a team of the Orthodox, like, he brought this chippiness and he brought this attitude. Like, he did not care who you were on the other side. He was looking to win the match, right? And like, I remember some of him getting into with Messi last year, even though we lost that match in League's Cup, or when Gonzalo Higuain, his first match, doesn't even know, probably never even heard of Chester, Pennsylvania. Maybe he's never even heard of Philadelphia. He comes in, he's thinking he's going to get a nice little walk in the park in his first MLS match, and here comes Brujo Martinez getting in his face. And those are just the moments that you'll just remember at Brujo. And I brought up that discussion on Twitter. It's like, this era of Union soccer, like, there's a bunch of dudes on this team that we've had over the past couple of years that, when we look in the future, 10, 20 years down the line, these are some of the players that are going to set the standard. What Union soccer is, that gold standard of Philadelphia Union soccer. And Brujo Martinez is one of those players. When you're developing a 6-5, 10 years down the line, you're going to show clips of Brujo Martinez and some of the things he did on the pitch. And so we obviously lost a cornerstone of our club, but that's how soccer works, ladies and gentlemen. I know, just like they were talking about in the town hall meeting, it definitely sucks losing Carranza. It sucks losing Brujo Martinez. But every club is going through this, not only in this league, but around the world. And the challenge is finding those next guys. And, Renee, you brought up the death. That's going to be an interesting question. And obviously, right now, we have a little bit to kind of look at with Danley. I personally believe Jesus Bueno should have that role there. But when you consider what you brought it or what you spent for Danley and where Danley kind of came from, I kind of understand that. But I kind of throw that question here to you guys. What should we do now at the 6?
Yeah. I mean, listen, just to your point about the Corinthians and their success, they are 17th in the table for Serie A, and they are also a team that has won a lot. They've won 2 FIFA Club World Cups, Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamericana, 30 state championships. The list goes on and on for the amount of hardware that they've won. He is stepping into a winning culture, and Martinez is going to be someone that we'll be watching from afar to see how El Brujo transitions in to help be a part of that success. I know their fans are kind of wondering, who is this guy? What are we getting with him? We know you're getting a dog, a fighter, a guy that loves the game, a guy that leaves it all out there, and a guy that now is going to be a tough piece to replace because of the fact that the midfield is such a position you need depth. You need to have, whether you're running with a 3 midi or a diamond midfield, whatever it is, you need to have backups for each spot. And I think for Jose, one of the things that I used to, now that we can look ahead and get some closure because we're moving on from him, one of the things that I used to complain about is he doesn't really give you enough offensively. And in the way that the game is evolving, you don't traditionally just have anybody that just is strictly defensive or strictly offensive. Even goalkeepers are getting involved in the attack. And that's something that teams are looking for, even a goalkeeper that can start your possession and build up out of the back. You need guys that can play on both sides of the ball. And it felt like at times Jose Martinez, one of his things that I was frustrated with is he was trying to do too much offensively because that wasn't really his nature. His game was truly being the 6 that sits in the gaps, stops transition, a ball winner, good at switching the point of attack, good at 50-50s, good at helping you control possession, but he wasn't that final third or even building out of the back, crafty type of a midfielder. So Danley is someone that I'm excited to see how he progresses because I think, based off what we've heard and what we've seen in such a small sample size, he has a little bit more of an offensive mindset and actually seems more similar to how Leon Flock plays, where you get the balance of being a guy that's flexible, can play on the winger of a diamond midfield, can play as a 6, but also can get you forward, can be someone that is more natural when they get forward and reading the game with the runs, with their passes. And that's something I think the Union were missing. So I think between Danley, Leon, and Jesus, they really should carry the load of more of that defensive role. And then, of course, you have around them now with Ali, Quinn, Danny, whoever's in the midfield, Jack, other playmakers. But I'm hoping that they actually can switch from having the traditional defensive mid and have more of a free-flowing midfield. I think beyond just the actual personnel, this should be a time. We saw them roll out a 4-3-3 in the third-place match. this should be the time that I'd like to see the Union get to a little bit more of a free-flowing midfield where it's not as structured and as rigid, but it's a little bit more free-flowing. Sometimes Leon gets forward and maybe Danley holds. Sometimes Danley gets forward and maybe Jesus holds. Have more of that balanced midfield where it's more unpredictable and more dynamic. Because in this league, with the acquisitions that we're seeing, with the talent that we're seeing, you need that. You need middies that aren't just the 6, the 10, the 8, the 11, but are going to be able to kind of interchange and really unbalance to be able to control the tempo. So I hope this is actually a change, not only for personnel, but also to get this team to be able to be a little less structured and predictable in their buildups.
We all silly like the mayor.